What's good, Council of Comics? It's film and box office news. Hey, we're doing Back to the Future this week. We built a time machine. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast, episode number 71. We went over 750 subscribers, everybody. It's a great day. Marty, great Scott.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? Soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life. Crisis after crisis.
What is good, Council of Comics? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast. This is episode number 71, January 21st, 2024. We are in the year of trilogies, and the current trilogy we will start today is Back to the Future. And in my good fashion, I watched part 1 and part 2. I like to get them all out of the way, but I had fun yesterday watching them. For those of you that don't want to pay for it, there's a channel on YouTube that has the whole movie in clips and not like little pieces of it. It's the whole movie. I can't promote it, but you can find it. You'll definitely find it out there.
I can't.
There it is. Oh, we got the laser disc. But hope you guys are having a great day out there. If you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we have passed over 750 subscribers. We are 3/4 of the way to the big 1G. I want to thank everybody who is supporting. It's meant a lot to us. We're gonna put together a 750th giveaway. We just got to make sure which prizes we're gonna put in that, and then we'll have a live and we'll do it that day. But we'll keep you informed on that. It'll happen soon. As always, the loyal council, Phil, Cliff, green shirt guy. How are you today?
Cliff, you look like you should be
Excellent.
sitting there holding up a newspaper as proof of life. What is that room you're in?
Cliff looks like he's waiting in a prison waiting room.
My room is under a remodel. For goodness sake.
Who are you going to visit, Cliff? Who are you going to visit? Remember, also subscribe to Cliff on Comics. Cliff has a great channel himself. He's about around 600 subscribers. He's right behind us, creeping up behind. He does a lot of great work on the lives, so subscribe to him as well. Who we got in here? In the comments? Las Cruces 1971 is always in here. Thank you for joining us. Brian LCS, fresh off of his Breakfast with Brian yesterday. It was a great show. Thank you for joining us. Aggressively relaxing. Hey, how y'all doing? We doing fine. Brian says 750. Let's go. Congrats. Let's go. Yes. We've been working very, very hard on this channel, and we appreciate all the subscribers. Who else we got in here? Okay, that's good. All right. So before we start, as always, let me get into this. Young at Heart Foundation organization at youngatheartfoundation.com is a great organization thrown by our good friend Mike out in California. They sponsor Hope Kits for children who are in hospitals awaiting medical procedures. You can help out with this organization by either going to the website youngatheartfoundation.com and register to become a donor with this button right here. More than 100,000 people are waiting for a life-saving transplant. You can help by registering as an organ donor, or you can sponsor a Hope Kit that's 100% tax deductible, where they'll take all the funds and create a nice little gift box for the kids in there. They also do great things by setting up guests to come meet the kids. Great stuff. You can get in touch with Mike at 323-396-9998 or email him at info@youngatheartfoundation.com. The website is youngatheartfoundation.com. Great site. Next up, Alternativus. Oh, that's the private chat. You guys can't see the private chat. Alternaverse is our home away from home out in Hyde Park, New York. It's located at 870 Violet Avenue in Hyde Park, New York. It's run by our good friend Anthony. Great friend Anthony, one of the greatest guys in the comic book industry. Their shop has comics, cards, toys. They offer the Hudson Valley's best selection of comic books. They bag and board every single comic book. It's really, really great. If you'd like to start a pull list with Anthony, you can get in touch with him at 845-233-4234 or email him at alternaverse2@aol.com. The website is alternaverse.net. And when you start a pull list, you will get 10% off your comic books. They also have card tournaments that go on there every weekend. Give him a call. He'll let you know. There's Pokemon, there's Lorcana, there's Magic, tons of different things. Located in Hyde Park, New York. Get in touch with Anthony. And of course, our channel, we hit 750, it should be 751, but 900 videos. Woo! 900 videos on the channel. Of course, we have a plethora of videos out there. I just put up a video of a huge haul that we got from, where did I get this huge haul? This is Icon haul. Icon from back in the days. I got 60 books out there. Check out that. Then, of course, New Comic Book Day, where we go over all the new comic books. They have funny skits. Council Conversations is up there. The last one that went up there was Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Mario 2. I had Kamaria in there. So we have, and our lives, which, you know, we do every Sunday and Monday. New Keys of Hot Comics, Back to the Future, Cliff's Crisis Quest, Exceptional Comics Trivia. It's another great show on there. So if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you very, very, very much. All right, what's good, guys?
Can I address something that was talked about last week?
Sure.
I know I'm not wearing green again because I gotta support my boys, right? But if you want me to wear green, I don't have a ton of green shirts. Send me one. I will wear it on here. But your business, I'll wear it and rep it.
Green shirt guy.
So
I'm hoping they win. I'm hoping they win tonight. Like, I'm
I
rooting
have
for the
green,
Bills.
but I can't wear one for months on end. If you want me to wear more green shirts, send me one.
I'm
You
rooting for
hear that,
them.
Brian? Green shirt guy needs green shirts. Get the word out.
It needs the green shirts.
I
All
wear,
right.
and I wear it around town too. I mean, like I said, it's got your business on it. I don't care. It doesn't make no difference to me. I'll advertise for free for you.
Anybody watch anything interesting this week?
Wait,
Did I
follow up.
What?
What's your shirt size, green shirt guy? They need
Oh,
to know.
extra large.
Extra
Sorry.
large. And you heard it, people. Extra large green shirts. Get your logo on there. Send them off to us. We'll get them in there. As far as anything interesting this week, I watched the Marvels again.
How was your second viewing of the Marvels?
I'm still unfazed. I mean, the cats still bother me, but other than that, I'm fine.
It's good, right? Yeah,
I
I'm
think
done
it's
with
good. You
I'm
know.
done with all these people out there that all they do is complain about everything that comes out. It's okay to complain once in a while if you don't like nothing. I have an infamous rant against Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But when you complain about every single project that comes out,
Well,
the
I
problem is you. The problem
I
is
don't-
not the studio. The problem is you.
okay. First off, this is a multi-layer problem. The studio is a problem.
I was gonna say the studio got a little bit of.
Yeah,
However, the excessive nitpicking and attacking, it's like too much, which is why I'm back to clearly we've had too much of a good thing. Everyone needs to chill. I would love a whole, if this whole year, if all 2024 had no Marvel and DC stuff, I
Not
think
gonna
we would
happen.
all be better for it.
It's not going to happen, but you know.
No, it's not going to happen, but we would all be better for
we
it.
are getting significantly less material.
Yeah, I know, but I really feel that this climate deserves nothing. I feel like y'all, it just needs to be nothing. And
No,
then,
I
like,
agree with you. The way people have acted, you deserve nothing. Like when I watch Echo, like I'm watching and I'm like, oh god, these people are gonna complain about the stupidest things now. Like Echo was enjoyable. It's like a limited series in a comic book that you read that had a couple moments. but they want Echo. They want Echo to be like Endgame. Like, I don't understand.
Can I?
Like,
Can I?
I don't think
Counterpoint
it
to
might be
that,
like
though?
Endgame, but like,
Uh-huh.
first of all, like there is a lot of I never asked for Echo, right?
Correct.
Like I didn't ask for Echo the series.
we didn't ask for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Correct.
Right, but they made something extraordinary out of Guardians of the Galaxy, right? So it's like if you're gonna give me Echo, and again, I actually enjoyed Echo, but for the people who are complaining because they're like, I give you my money, Disney, and you don't give me any satisfaction in return, for those people, this is me being devil's advocate. And that is, like you didn't make anything particularly extraordinary here for me. And it did do some really great things, mind you, in my opinion. And I never asked for Echo. I'm like, I'm sitting around begging for Daredevil, and y'all started off so bad. You straight up fired everyone that are starting from scratch.
Listen, here's what I say about the Disney people complaining. I give you my money for Disney. You pay $10 for Disney Plus. There are thousands of projects on Disney Plus. You are getting your $10 worth, regardless if you got Echo great or Echo not.
Yeah, but like if
You're getting your money's
if
worth.
I'm only subscribing to Disney, Hulu, whatever package you choose, okay, number one, we're looking at over $10 easy, especially now. Number two, it's like if I'm doing it because I'm a Marvel fan and I don't care about all these other movies and all these other projects, then like, yeah, I'm gonna there's a little room for the hurt, but also they just promised to deliver too much. I mean, this is a multi-layered argument I'm really going into here. I'm just saying they have a right to complain. Things are not perfect or smooth, but I'm also saying y'all could be just complaining too much. You're like, we're at the point where
everybody
like,
has room to complain. Everybody has room to complain. I don't disagree.
Right, but like it's
the
much.
ones that are dragging it. Like, you're dragging it now, bro.
But here's the thing: if we allow Disney, or you're saying we should take a year off with nothing, right? Well, that's your argument. Doesn't that mean that the people who complain win? Even if you don't love it, even if you don't love Echo, the fact that we got it is better than nothing to me.
That's true, but I think
So
it's
the
a
people
break.
complain,
I think
F them is what I say.
I think it's a palate cleanse for everyone. I feel like we need a palate cleanser for everybody.
But I disagree, because that lets people who are complaining about that swim. You don't like it, don't spend your $10.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. Let the people that actually watch it, even if we don't love it, they're like, "Oh, it was okay, it was enjoyable."
Hey, do we want to open the next Pandora's box?
Because open it up, Cliff.
The next Pandora's box is all these people complaining who are streaming it for free on pirated sites.
They do it anyway. What's that have to do with
right? So I was gonna say, I'm just saying, it's a box inside a box inside a box inside a box. If we
start going down that road, I mean,
well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's all the problems. It's so much. It's so many layered things. Kenneth Bird, what's up? Okay, there's so many things that I'm just saying. I feel like a palate cleansing break would be good. That is just my humble little opinion in this.
I hear you.
Look,
I
aggressively relaxed. It says Marvels was awesome. Look forward to it coming to streaming. That's stuff I like to hear.
Thank you.
I was enjoyable. I don't know about awesome. It was enjoyable.
Well,
it wasn't. Let me put it this way: it wasn't. The reception was not what it was. It got panned, and it was not terrible.
It wasn't. People just want,
parts of it were
in this day and age, people just want something to complain about. They just are. I don't know if it's because they're tired of their life, what they're going through, but they just look for anything to complain about.
What cracks me up about this too is a lot of these people that are complaining are comic book fans. I hope. Let's just say that they are, right?
Mostly,
Do you love every issue that you buy?
No. That's what I'm trying to make.
That wasn't great. You still buy the comic book.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
I know.
Like, it's not like, that issue of Batman was terrible. I'm never buying Batman again. I still buy
the
Batman.
people
I
like
love Batman.
the people that make the comments. Oh, I'm so done. I'm so done.
Right.
Like, bro, no, you're not. Shut up. You're not done. You're gonna go watch the next thing, and you're gonna complain about that as well.
Right.
So
Oh. You know how it is. You read Dark Droids. You know how it feels.
yeah.
You read
but-
I
Dark
know how
Droids.
it is.
So you know how it feels.
But he's still
The
buying Star
endings
Wars.
of Dark Droids didn't stop me. Nothing
But
will
you're still
ever
buying
stop.
Star Wars. And Cliff it still buys DC books after.
Yeah.
Did
after
Did
Final
you
Crisis.
see? Have you seen? Oh my God, Dark Crisis is my hatred.
Right, but
You know,
you still
however-
buy DC books.
Well, yeah, because it didn't
That's what I'm
make.
saying.
No, the biggest
Even-
mistake
even-
I made.
even
The
all
biggest mistake I made is that I bought all of Dark Crisis. That's the mistake
I
that
bought
I
all the
made.
Convergence, dude. I know
See,
what
all
you're
you
talking
complainers out there should be in the comments thanking Cliff right now because he is defending you with all his heart, and we are bombarding him.
I bought all
Bombarding
of
him.
Convergence. When I say all of Convergence, I'm not talking
Convergence.
1 through 8.
But Richard,
I'm talking
my-
1 through 8 and all of the
Ronaldo,
mini stories. All
my
40 something.
specific mantra about
Larry's in the
complaining is if I
Three monsters in
didn't
the house.
read it, if I didn't watch it, whatever, I don't have room to jump on a bandwagon.
Sure, that's fair.
Every issue of Dark Crisis kept disappointing me more. And what was it? Around issue 4 or 5, I knew that I was just in for a shit show, but I was already committed. So I'm like,
Yeah, but
that's
you
it.
knew you weren't going to stop buying DC Comics.
No, and I was enjoying other DC comics. Let's be
Correct.
perfectly clear.
Yeah.
So like, but I just want you to know, I am also coming from a camp of I don't have room to complain if I didn't actually,
Right.
spend my
Well,
money on it, read
To,
it.
to be
you
clear,
know?
most of these complainers are only doing it for the influence of clicks.
Oh, sure.
They're only complaining because it's bringing them viewership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know,
and-
but let's not act like it doesn't have ramifications because it does.
What doesn't have ramifications?
All the negativity campaigns. You know,
It does. Look what it's done to the movies. Like, I'm a big believer that the reason why the movies are not making as much as they are is not because they're bad movies. It's because it's had the Snyder Cut effect, where people complain, they make it toxic, and the average person who's not into comic books or movies hears all this stuff from them, and they go, "Well, I'm not gonna. These guys are saying it's bad. We shouldn't go see it. So I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna wait." When back in the days, it was like, "Let's go. There's a Marvel movie out. Let's go."
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it was pretty easy
So-
once upon a time.
Yeah, but now people just complain about everything, and oh, you're woke, and you're this, and you're that. It's just ridiculous.
Larry's like, I'm a complainer. I won't.
Larry's a complainer. He doesn't. Larry, there's nothing wrong with complaining, but you're never done. You keep watching. You know what I mean? Aggressively realized that I'm not convinced the light box office that the Marvels had was because of public taste and film changing. We were just out of money. People spent more than ever on entertainment. That's very true as well. That's
Yeah.
very true as well.
Like I said, I genuinely feel it is a very layered discussion, right? And like, we all got to roll with that.
Yeah, but just wait till Deadpool 3. It's all gonna change when Deadpool 3 comes out.
At the savior.
All
Is
gonna
it gonna be
change.
like the savior.
You know what, Sam?
watch.
Be careful what you put into the universe.
Mark
because
my
it could-
words on this January 21st, Sunday
Oh my
2024.
God.
Deadpool
Oh.
3 will break records.
Oh,
It will change everybody's perspective.
it
You
will,
still have
or
haters.
it will
You
destroy
still have the haters. Even the
superhero
haters.
movies
I'm gonna call it
forever.
right now. Even you haters are gonna be like, "Oh, well, yeah. What about this part? But I still liked it." You watch. Ryan Reynolds will deliver. He will deliver. Black Crown Comics. So it's good. What's good, Black Crown? But yeah, Ryan Reynolds will deliver. Hugh Jackman will deliver.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, and I don't want to hear. I don't want any more spoilers. Every time I look at YouTube and I see a video that's like, "Oh, leak this," I don't watch it anymore.
I haven't
Because
watched those in forever.
I don't want it anymore. I don't want your spoilers anymore. I don't care if it gets you 1,000 views on your channel because your source, who you say, "Oh, I have an inside source," which I don't believe you. Just letting you know right now, I don't believe you when you say you have inside sources. I'm sorry, because you cannot prove that you have inside sources, so I don't believe you. You can make up anything, and if it doesn't happen, you could be like, oh, well, that just didn't happen. But my source is not bad. You know what I mean? I don't believe you. If you can't name your source, that's like when we're doing like when you're doing like periodical, you do journalism, you have to name a source.
Not always.
No, not always.
Yeah,
Not always.
you have to name a source if you're talking about facts and things that's
No, you
gonna
don't.
happen.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Dude,
You can
do
have
you
an
not
anonymous
what was
source.
it? What was
No,
it?
I don't mean like protecting the sources.
What I'm saying
I don't
is
mean that.
I know what you're saying. What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
you can have an anonymous source that you do not reveal, which because of a number of reasons. Let's just say it would put them in jeopardy wherever they work. For example, like say they work for the tobacco industry, and that you have an inside
Yeah,
source.
that's for those
What I'm
kind
saying,
of.
so
I'm
you
talking
could
about
have
for
facts.
this. I'm talking about for this. For
Okay,
movies.
right, but you're saying
You know what I
well,
mean?
okay, that's different.
I'm not talking about like government inside stuff and
Well,
and
okay.
they'll throw you in jail
Okay.
type stuff.
We're not talking. So
You know what I
you're,
mean?
you're not talking about actual reporting. You're talking
No.
you're
I'm not talking about that.
You're
I'm
talking
talking about
entertainment speculation.
talking about Hollywood. You feel me?
Hollywood
And,
speculation,
I know it's either like, well, if I name my source, I'll never get anything else from them, and this is that. Oh well, I
But
don't
worse,
care.
Worse, if
Don't
you
care.
name your source and your source is very likely under an NDA of some source, you've jeopardized
Well-
you getting anything, and you've jeopardized that person.
You know what? You shouldn't have signed the NDA. Don't go signing NDAs and then go to people leaking out information.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Don't do that. Because if you would leak out information, say on the government side, like, well, man, they have this horrible thing. Yeah, you leak it out because that's horrible. We're talking about movies here.
Well,
Don't sign an NDA, a non-disclosure thing, and then go leak it to Grace or somebody like that. So when you get caught, I have no mercy. I have no mercy for you.
but
You know what I mean?
to flip side to that though, if you're Grace who's getting this stuff, should know better than if they know that you are someone who has and signs NDAs, should know better than to ask you stuff because it's not fair to put you in that position either.
Yeah. That's why I don't believe none
So
of them.
let's for argument's sake say down the road one of us is making a movie. I'm not going to even ask you because I don't think it's. I don't.
Why
want
would I put you in
wouldn't put you in that
jeopardy like
position.
that? Yeah, why would I put you in jeopardy? So I can get a like on my YouTube channel?
Correct.
Come on now. Come on. We're talking craziness here. Larry
not
says
worth
you
it.
absolutely show sources. Yeah, I know. This isn't journalism. This is movies.
The speculation. not
Speculation. Yes,
Not
yes,
journalism.
yes.
Let's make sure we.
You know what? Everyone keeps.
Ken Roland says, Cliff, you're in a police interrogation
I
room.
said it. Yeah, thank you.
Well, you know what? Y'all are treating me like it's a police interrogation, so it's all right.
You
It's
chose
all
to
right.
defend the haters. So you will go
because
down
there
with them.
is because there is something there, right?
What up, John?
There is
John
something there.
Comics for Kids. You're not late. You're right on time. Trev the shipping
I'm
guru.
telling you,
What
you
up,
should
bro?
put up a newspaper, Cliff.
Like the haters do smell like the blood in the water, but the blood is in the water. Like that is
Correct.
the problem. Like
It's not, yeah, you can't smell
Yeah.
it if it's not there.
the blood is in the water.
It's just how much.
Oh my goodness. All right, that was a fun. That was fun. All right, let's get into the box office this week. Let me share my screen. Mean Girls is number one this week, ladies and gentlemen, with an $11 million pull.
That's not
Not great in total, but they get to say they were the number one movie of the week.
great. Well,
You know what I mean? That's big
yeah, but
when you're making
they're the
those,
only movie that
commercials.
came out this week, right?
Yeah, but when you're making a commercial that says number one movie in America, people don't
Yeah,
care
for a
about it. They're
week.
like, oh,
This
that's
is
the
for a
number one
week.
movie.
Is it the second week? Is this the second week?
It's second
No,
week.
it is
Yeah,
the second
yeah,
week. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so it's been number one like twice. So it got two. two
Yeah,
of those
that's
number
right. You
ones.
got 2 weeks at number one. You could rock that. Plus,
And
No, I
honestly,
think
it
we
made
did number one last
and
week,
what did
right?
it make so far? Like 50 million.
Oh,
like
the thing that happened, they did not. Box Office Mojo did not put it on the list last week. That's why we didn't
okay.
see it. Yeah.
Oh,
Angry Otter has a long comment. I'd like to get to. Actors typically give away details of new movies ahead of time when doing interviews because they get caught in the moment. Tom Holland is the worst offender.
Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
Ruffalo. But Ruffalo makes me think he's doing it like on purpose, though.
I think
No,
a
they're
little
just
bit.
too
I
excited.
almost think
You
Tom
can't
Holland's
be
doing it on
this-
purpose after a while too.
What?
Tom
Kamari
Holland was
said,
so bad.
Kamari
They
says,
didn't tell him
"Oop,
everything.
I heard Mean Girls. Time for me to pop up."
Mario knows what's up.
How bad is ISS that it comes in at $3 million?
Oh, what is ISS?
International Space Station. It's like a
Oh,
horror
my
movie
God.
in space.
No. ISS. I keep thinking about my job. I'm thinking it's
Yeah.
in-school
No, I mean, here's the thing. The premise looked interesting. That looked like
I had that a
like,
couple times.
Phil, you had in-school suspension? I would
Yeah.
never imagine. What did you do, Phil? Wait, we gotta find out what Phil
I
did.
did
What did
too.
you do?
I did too.
What did
Being
you
a
do?
high school student, like I don't know. Being a high school student in public school, I think like you get it along the way.
I got
Oh,
in school suspension for skipping class.
I was just saying, that's what I got it for.
Oh, yeah,
what
that
did
sounds
you
about-
skip class for?
What do you mean? Why would I want to skip class?
Which class did you skip? As he thinks amongst the many classes that he skipped.
Well, okay. No, number one. The first. No. Hold on. The first one I skipped the whole morning, and we went somewhere. Me, this dude from my science class, his brother. So like, but we didn't get caught. It was just like whatever, right?
It was harder to get caught back then because we had open campus. So.
Right, but then the really bad one that got me the suspension was, I had the print class. So I was in the print shop all the time. So those like hallway passes and shit?
You printed it off your own?
No, I just stole a whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And no one knew, and I used the little hall passes to get around, right? So I forgot where I went. Did I go to the freaking movies with somebody? But anyhow, I needed to get back for a test in the afternoon, and so did one of the other dudes, right? So they just like dropped us off in the parking lot. The bell had already rung. We got that short little blondish woman security guard at the front door who caught us, and that was it. It was over.
Kamara
Can
says,
I
I
say
never
this
skip
to-
class. Kind of hard to skip class when you're homeschooled.
Yeah. As a parent now, right? I have 3 boys, and I know when they're sick from school. I know. So like, it has not been an issue, but I know when they're sick from school. But I'm on the robocalls, so whenever there's the snow emergency, quote unquote, or they cancel after school stuff or anything, I get an email and I get a text message. So I get the same things when my sons miss school. However, it's at like 2:30 in the afternoon. So if they were in high school, for example, like we all were, and decided to skip the day, I wouldn't know till 2:30 in the afternoon. What can I do about it then? The school day's over. And or if something really did happen, like they got kidnapped on the way to school, I don't find out till 2:30 in the afternoon. How is that helpful? You take attendance in the morning, you probably verify attendance at 10 o'clock, send it then.
Oh, there are many cracks and crevices within the educational system, green shirt guy.
I'm just
And a
saying.
little
We
spackle not
only
covered up.
had room for one argument, a societal argument tonight, and we used it on movies.
Like,
That's
in-school
it.
suspension is an oxymoron in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You think it was a treat? You think it was a treat spending my day?
You
in
didn't
the
get like the real
auditorium?
treat of suspension of not going to school. Like
I felt
ridiculous.
when I got
No.
when I got
Yes and no, 'cause
ISS,
you
I used to
had
fall
do
asleep.
work, and they gave you the worst person to sit in the room with you.
All right, let's get back to this box office. At number 2, The Beekeeper with Jason Statham.
Still want to see
Staying strong, only dropping 48%, up 27.
I hope
theaters.
Anthony sees it.
Wonka hanging in there still. Wonka being very
it.
strong.
What did it do worldwide, Wonka?
Wonka is at 531 worldwide. That's very good.
They're gonna make another. They're gonna expand that.
Oh yeah,
universe for 500
definitely gonna
million.
make another one. Definitely gonna make another Wonka. Definitely. They were talking about it before. They haven't greenlit anything yet, but they're
They
definitely
will for 500 million. Because
speaking about it.
they didn't expect it to make that
And
one.
that's gonna do very well when it drops to
Yeah.
like HBO Max.
Oh yes.
Oh, streaming and digital. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'll drop on HBO Max.
Listen, anyone but you, number 4, Migration, number 5, Aquaman.
I
You
want
wanna
to
look at the Aquaman? You want to see Aquaman? Only dropped 30%. Only dropped 30%.
Yeah, but it only made 6 million.
Aquaman's 4 million away from 400 million.
Well, it made.
So
Hasn't it already made more than Flash and combined?
and the Marvels, yeah.
No, not Marvel's.
What?
Shazam, the Shazam 2. Didn't
yes.
Shazam 2 make like
Yes.
just under 200?
Yes, it did.
So it's made more than both of those combined.
This movie has made its money back because they didn't spend a lot on advertising.
They spent nothing
they-
on advertising.
Yeah, it pretty much spent nothing. It was about a $250 million movie, so it made its money back. You know what I mean?
Did any of you guys see it?
No.
No,
I did.
we're waiting. I'm waiting for it to get to Max, and then
I'll
I'll
do
watch it.
good on Max too.
I'm part of that 20% that don't go to the movies as much anymore. ISS talked about Night Swim, The Boys in the Boat, dropping to number 9. Poor Things making a
Emma
lot
Stone
of
won a
talk.
Golden Globe, didn't she, for that?
Yeah, she won a Golden Globe, making a lot of talk. It's up 14%, and it went into over 820 more theaters. Then you got American Fiction, The Iron
Because they're trying
Claw.
to push that.
Aaron Claw's the one you need to be watching.
The 820 more theaters are trying to push it right before the Oscars. That's what that is. I guarantee that's what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Godzilla -1 went over 100 million worldwide. That was a big thing for them. They are releasing Godzilla -1 in black and white. So for you guys in January, I think at the end of January they're doing that for you guys.
Same
Across the
theaters or-
Spider-Verse. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Nothing much there. I like to always look at the
You don't wanna
last
see
one.
inside the yellow
Song.
cocoon shell?
The
What's
what?
that?
Inside the yellow.
That's got to be an independent. Right?
What is this? What is this? A man returns to his hometown where he's haunted by past memories and desires.
Well, that doesn't help at all.
That's telling
That's
me
such a
nothing.
That's very
That's
independent.
that's everybody's life that goes back to their hometown. You're telling me nothing. Nothing.
So you went home.
So you went home.
To all the things you left
Alright.
behind, and then they start triggering you. That's the movie.
Not a big box office, but Mean Girls takes the top spot. So shout out to Mean Girls for being this week's winner. All right, we got some comments before we get to our movie. Let's go. Let me see. Angry Otter, what's good? Angry Otter says everyone I know says Wonka was really good.
But I've heard too.
Kamara says I was just about to ask if anyone's seen Wonka and if I should see it or wait until it's on streaming. I would like to see it in the theater for that theater experience, but how long it'll stay in theaters is the question. Aquaman, yeah, Aquaman was a dead film before even being released because of the whole Amber Heard thing. Oh, I thought he was being funny, but he corrected it. Amber. All right. So
Well, why does Aquaman poop on someone's side of the bed in that movie? Yeah, I went there. What? Come get me, Amber Heard.
No one ever heard it worried about you.
Amber Heard. We remember that trial. We sure do. All right. Next up, your homework. This is the year of trilogies 2024, ladies and gentlemen. 2024. We did Lord of the Rings, but this
There
next
it is.
trilogy, Spec To the future.
Can I say that of that's one of those classic movie posters that when I think of movies, or when you without even putting the verbiage or the graphic up with the lettering, you know what this movie is. It's so that
Indeed.
image is so iconic.
Indeed. This movie was directed by Robert Zemeckis. It is a Steven Spielberg produced film. Marty McFly, 17-year-old high school student, is accidentally sent 30 years into the past in a time-traveling DeLorean invented by his close friend, the maverick scientist Doc Brown. Very, very enjoyable movie. It still holds up for me.
It does.
I think it holds up very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The DeLorean, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Mm.
Now, for those of you who don't know, at this time in the world, there were only like 3 or 4 DeLoreans in the whole world. At this
Wasn't
time.
there like 1,500 altogether DeLoreans?
Something like that.
Not at this
they
time.
made more, but
They made more, yeah, but at this time there was only like maybe 3 to 5 in the whole world. That's why he made such a big fuss about it.
What's really funny too, and if you know, I mean, I'm not a huge car guy, but what's really funny, especially at the end of this movie, is when he can't start it twice. DeLoreans were routinely known for having electrical problems. So the fact that it didn't start is about par for the car, but it had, it's just part of the story.
It's a nice little Easter egg right there.
But did he need like 1 point something?
1.21 gigawatts. I'm sure plutonium is sold around the corner in 1985 at every corner store.
So hey, here's something for you. Before they decided on using a car for the movie, for the time machine, what object were they going to use as a time machine and then decided it would be a bad idea?
I'm guessing telephone booth because it got used later.
Close-ish, but no.
Close-ish.
I don't know.
A refrigerator.
Really?
Oh.
But they were afraid it would encourage kids to close themselves into refrigerators,
Why
which
would
you know
you
would be
use a
very, very bad.
refrigerator? That's so dumb.
Well, because you could because he had to nuclear shield it. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that changes everything. Like, how would you get it to change? Like, remember the car has to reach 88 miles per hour.
Well, they would.
It was just going to be like a time travel device. And then, so like that was the first thing that got shot down was like, no, we don't need children locking themselves in refrigerators. So then they decided it would be a car. When they decided it would be a car, it was going to be the 1981 Chevrolet Corvette. And then, then that got shot down because like they were like, no, this is like too sporty. We need something futuristic. And then they're like, we're getting a DeLorean. And like everybody agreed, we're getting a DeLorean.
That's really funny.
Pretty cool.
I wonder too if, because we're talking about that there's so few DeLoreans actually finished, but I know there was a bunch in production, if they had used other cars, because they end up using a bunch of cars in movies and for stunts and whatever, if they put the shell of a DeLorean around a Buick.
There's more on that later.
Angry Otter says Michael J. Fox is not the original Monty.
That is
either.
true.
That's very true.
That is
what was
true.
the guy's name? Do you remember?
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz.
You ever seen it?
He actually filmed.
Yes,
He
I've
filmed
seen it,
like
yeah.
the beginning of the movie.
They filmed almost half the movie.
Almost half the movie until what was the reason? It just wasn't working, right? It wasn't working. Man.
It wasn't that he was doing a poor job. They just didn't feel it was comedic enough. And yeah.
Great choice.
What's
No,
wild
it
about it
was
is
just sadly it was devoid of the right chemistry.
Yeah, that too.
And then this movie practically killed Michael J. Fox, the poor guy.
Well, because he was. Did you watch?
He was filming Family Ties at the same time.
Yes.
So he would like film Family Ties, sleep in the car, get there, go keep
and then
going.
sleep in the car on the way back. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you know what I mean? You want to be a star. You're a star, kid. Yeah, so Doc Brown, our beloved Doc Brown, decides that he's going to steal some plutonium from Iranian terrorists.
Your
And
mic is breaking up again.
my mic is not breaking up.
Your voice is breaking up.
You're breaking up.
I've already been broken up with. I've recovered. You're breaking up.
Anyway, he stole the plutonium from the Iranian terrorists.
Libyan.
Libyan terrorists. That's who it is. The Libyan terrorists. And he built the
Because we were
time
fighting
machine
with the
with it.
Libyans back then. And Muammar
Yeah.
Gaddafi.
And Marty McFly is a 17-year-old who
Can
he
we
asked to come.
Right.
Go ahead.
Here's the. Have you ever see what's his name? John Mulaney. He has a whole bit about this. He goes, "I love this movie, but at no point is it explained why a 17-year-old kid is best friends with a disgraced nuclear physicist. There's no like throw off line of how they met. None of that. We're just supposed to be okay with an older gentleman befriending a 17-year-old kid for no reason."
Marty, meet me at 1:30 in the morning in the mall.
Right.
Actually, it kind of makes sense because, like, you know, it's really like every little bit of information that this movie like gave you, like you needed for this movie, like to really work. Like
It does.
Like even at the beginning, like you see Marty on the skateboard. Like later on in the movie, there's a skateboard chase that makes
Yes.
sense. Like you get back to it.
They always
is
hook
very
you
well
up,
written.
yeah, with the little things. Yeah.
So like you think about it, like yeah, he would like befriend Marty because he knows Marty from like 1959 or whatever.
You're right. The loop, right? The whole loop.
Yeah.
That was another
he
thing.
was-
Like when he comes back, right? And he goes to the mall because he's like, I gotta save Doc. He's about to get shot. That's not his past or his future. Because there's another Marty there.
Right. It's
You
the
know what I
loop.
mean? Yeah. So it's like, was Marty watching the original one? You get what I'm saying?
Wait.
Well,
Does it start somewhere, or has it always been a loop? Is the question.
Well, is he
No,
the first
this universe's time travel is not loop time travel.
What do you
Okay,
mean?
because every act of time travel has ramifications
Correct.
across the time stream,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
I can't think of a movie with loop time travel,
Terminator.
right, where everything plays out back to what it was supposed to be in the first place. Yes, it's like Terminator's loop time.
If you take one piece of Terminator out anywhere in that loop, it doesn't work.
Just like well, this is like I don't know. I think this sets up like a lot of even like where he's at like the cafe and he mentions like the guy being mayor.
Yes.
Like in '85,
Yeah.
he's running for mayor.
But-
Yeah, so
But
that's
if
what I'm
you-
saying. This has always happened. Is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
everything in
because-
this thing is happening because
Right,
before-
but not exactly. They're in the Two Pines malls at the beginning of the movie.
And it's
At the
Lone
end of the
Pine-
movie, it's the One Pine Mall. So
Lone
there
Pine.
is so all their
And-
time travel antics have ripple effects. All of
And
them.
if you remember, right before Marty gets in the car, Doc says, "Oh, how did it work out with your dad?" He's like, "Oh, he knocked Biff out. It was amazing because I've never seen him stand up to Biff before." And he goes,
Oh yeah, I
"Never?"
remember. He goes, never.
Yeah. And then, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. But obviously that matters because it changes the future.
Yeah. What was the original? How'd they get together in the original?
They got together in the original because they met because he got hit by the car.
he was still the peeping
Oh,
tom.
it's 'cause
He
Marty
fell out
was-
the
yeah,
tree
He
and
got
got
hit
hit by the
She
car.
felt sorry for him. They went to the
Yeah.
dance, kissed, and fell in love forever and ever after. He still
Okay.
got bullied by Biff the entire time, 30
Yeah.
years, but he was with Lorraine. That's why at the beginning of the movie, when Biff comes in and says, "Say hi to your mother for me," he's still trying to get with her.
Yeah.
Whereas when he goes back, he's kind of a doofus now.
That's-
I
Too
do
much
love
of a
that
doofus.
line though, where the cafe owner, whatever, Lou or whatever, says, yeah, something about, oh yeah, they'll have a colored mayor or whatever, and he goes, you'll see, I'm gonna clean up this town. He goes, yeah, you can start by sweeping right here.
I do believe Marty telling him in the past you will run for mayor accelerates him wanting to run for
Oh,
mayor.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
You know,
But remember,
I do-
he says it like he's never thought of that before, though.
right, but
Correct.
I'm telling you, I don't remember correctly because I haven't watched the next two films, but I do think Marty's talk with him affects how early this dude's first term was.
Probably. Well, and I watched a little bit of the second one because they were both on TBS. Oh, well, I don't know if all three were. I only watched the second half of this one on TBS last weekend, and then the beginning of the second one. You know how there's that scene with the mayor back in the 50s on you know, the guy in the car saying he's progressive, he's going to do all these things. In the second one, it's the same speech, only it's Goldie Wilson's guy or Goldie Wilson's grandson.
Oh, there you go.
It's kind of one of these things where things keep happening. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it did accelerate that.
Well, okay, here's my question. Marty comes back at the end of Back to the Future, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see the Marty from that universe leave.
Uh-huh.
He watches himself get in the car and go, right? How do we know that his life was exactly the same?
We don't. All we know is
You know
when his adventure ends, he'll arrive at some other destination of
That's
you know
true.
of the present.
That's
Right.
true too. How about, I was thinking about this when I watched both last weekend and this weekend. So he's trying to get away from these Libyan terrorists in a VW van, in a DeLorean, right? A sports car. Gonna pull away like it's no big deal. So I'm okay with that. Just for drama, he can get away right away. But then they hit that photo map booth. The guy in the back standing up with the gun, I'll grant, is probably damaged. Probably in a lot of trouble. But the guy behind the wheel looks fine. The van didn't even tip over.
What's good, Cody?
So when he sits up and is crying next to Doc, they're not out of danger yet. Those guys can still come after them.
Yeah, very true. I loved it when he went to the two parts where he went into the barn and they thought he was like an alien because the kid had the old magazine.
Yeah.
And he thought it was an alien. And then he went back to that when he was like, he put the headphones on his dad.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Darth Vader.
I love how he uses the rock music too as the thing to get him. So
It
well
was great. And then what's the next morning? He's like, Darth Vader came and told me.
Yes. You should probably keep that to yourself, George. Oh, and then he immediately goes, oh, yeah, you're right.
And
On
little
the other
small
hand,
things.
What I love about that scene too is he's sitting there trying to open the Coke bottle and he just takes it from him and pops it on the thing.
Pops it, yeah.
But you know, in Marty's universe, we don't talk about it, but Darth Vader is at the center of a sci-fi love story and not Star Wars, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because his father's book takes off.
Yes. What was it called too? Love Among the Stars or something like that?
Yeah, so I'm like, it's perfect. It's a love story and it's sci-fi. Come on.
Angry Otter says Marty's life is linear. If he would have stopped himself from getting in the DeLorean when he got back, it would have been paradox. So you're saying if Marty if Marty never would have went into the Back to the Future, the whole universe would have exploded, is what he's saying. End of the universe paradox. Because then there'll be two Martys in there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If he had stopped himself, it becomes the paradox.
Yeah.
Or if he had stopped himself, he ceases to exist.
Yeah, but remember, like, Doc isn't right all the time because he's always saying these things.
But we do know people start to cease to exist in this universe, in this story universe.
That's the part that bothers me too, where he's looking at the picture and the people start disappearing. Wouldn't it make sense that the person at the far end of the timeline would start to cease to exist first? So Marty would since he's the last born child.
Oh, I agree with you, but
that doesn't make any sense to me. That the older brother would be the one that would be gone first, but they would still have the other two.
Poor Jimmy Olsen going first really
You know
kills
what I
me.
mean? Like that made no sense. Never made any sense to me. But even as a 8 or 9 year old, when I saw this, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But
can I just tell you, as a kid, that I used to get so mad that Mark McClure is his brother, and I'm like, why would you have Jimmy Olsen in this movie and give him nothing to do? What is wrong with you? I was so mad when I was a kid.
Well, can we talk about the fact that we didn't want children to get into, now that I know that, get into refrigerators and potentially suffocate themselves. But we're
Yep.
teaching them that they should grab onto the back of cars while they're riding a skateboard.
Because
Oh
again,
yeah, this
apparently
sold
less potential
many
for
a
death.
skateboard to a kid, dude. Like this movie sold us.
I was a big skateboard kid after this movie. I
Yeah,
never got good
this
at it,
was,
but I wanted to be.
This sold us on definitely on the skateboard.
Yes.
I had a feeling though, like it was like it's small town. You know what I mean? Like we live in
Yeah.
such big cities nowadays. Like you would never see that happen. But like small towns, I could see it happening. You know what I mean? One thing I always thought about was all the prequel stories, because Marty and Doc are pretty famous in this movie.
Yeah.
Because remember, the principal is like, "You're still hanging around that crazy
Yeah, that's right.
scientist." You know what I mean? And he says it as if something major just happened that they witnessed. So
Yeah, maybe. I also like
I like that.
when Marty sees him when he first goes back to the past. He's like, "Geez, didn't that guy ever have hair?" and if you notice, he's wearing the exact same suit with the whistle around his neck too.
Yeah, you're a slacker, McFly. You're a
Yeah.
slacker. We don't like slackers around here. Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd. This scene
Ma-
right here was
What
crazy.
does he yell to?
Oh
He's
my
like, "One
god!
of these kids jumping from my car again."
When he ends up, when you first watch the movie, you actually think he's like back home, like because his mom is talking to him and stuff. Until she says 1955, like 1955, and this is so creepy. Like your mom is hitting on you. Your mom basically wants you to sleep in her room.
Right.
Like
She took
was
your
just-
pants off while you were knocked out.
took your pants off while you were sleeping. Like
Yeah,
what
you
is
know
that
what
all
was
about?
on there.
While you were unconscious, not sleeping, unconscious.
You know, Marty could have created a whole different paradox by becoming his own father at that point.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Well, that's the other thing I was thinking about watching it this time, and maybe I'm just okay with it. I moved on. So at the end, remember at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, after he plays the song and they kiss and everything's good, and he tells a story about if you ever have kids and one of them lights the living room rug on fire, go easy on them.
Yeah.
Okay, you can blow that story off, right? You probably we don't remember that. But this guy who got you together, you don't remember him? And then when you have a child who
But that's the paradox, isn't it? I think they
You
do
don't think
that.
anything
That's
of
what
it?
I think the paradox is, that this is always happening.
Right,
But
what I'm
it
saying
can't
is,
be always happening because that was not his life experience leading up to his time travel.
That's true. That's true.
right.
Like that's what I'm saying. That we have different time travel movies, and all of them follow a formula, which is why Endgame got me so ridiculously upset, because the movie
Threw it out
goes
the
out of
window.
its way- the movie goes out of its way to explain to you exactly what type of time travel will be taking place, right?
Well, right.
Then
I like
So they
Endgame's
can make
explanation
jokes
of
about
time
the other
travel.
ones,
right,
I thought-
but then it spurred into a bunch of arguments afterward, offline or out of the movie theater. You know what I mean, online. Because did Cap really get together with Peggy and stay with her through? And if he did, why wouldn't that have altered the timeline? And if he did, what does that say about him knowing all that information and letting everything just play out? Like, it's just weird.
Well, the way they
Right.
describe that is that once you go back, you create a new timeline.
Right. So and because the movie said that, I believe that Steve went to another timeline, stayed there until his Peggy passed, and came back to his natural timeline to wrap it up. Right? That's what I believe. But
Well,
then
and technically, he wouldn't have been to his natural timeline until he put all the stones back, right? So maybe he doesn't put the
well, no,
stones
he
back
had to use
until-
the device. He had to use the device to come back.
Well, I
right?
know that,
So
but
he
what I'm saying
hangs
is
on to
everything didn't reset until he would have put all the stones back right where they were.
yeah.
So it's entirely possible, and we're not talking about another movie, that he did his Peggy life and then put the stones back. So then reset everything after
That's possible too. That is possible.
because he would have lived. He wouldn't have gotten old until much later anyway.
Mm-hmm. Angry Eyes said they don't remember him because he was there for a week, and they don't expect their kid to be the one they hung out with still being young. Yeah, think about that though. I want you to think back 20 years in high school, and remember those people that you met, just like they were your friends for like a couple months. I don't remember them.
Sam, do you remember the Brazilian exchange students?
No.
Yeah, that was why. But I know they were there.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but did
I
the
don't
Brazilian
remember them.
exchange student introduce you to your wife and make sure that you went to the dance with her?
No, but the Brazilian exchange students, brother and sister, went on a trip to New York City with us, and we lost them and came home without them because we could wait no
Jeez.
longer.
The memory.
And because they could speak Portuguese, they found Portuguese speakers in the city and got their butts home.
Wow. 90s educational system, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
right, people. That
90s
was like
educational
90.
system.
That was like 94.
All right. So
I was thinking
Marty-
about this too. So remember the part where the cable comes undone, and he has to go back up to hook it back up so Marty can do the thing with the car. But actually, maybe back up. Remember the part when he builds the model? He says, "I'm sorry, I didn't have time to make it to
build it to scale."
and
Yeah.
paint it." And Marty's like, "Yeah, it's okay." Why exactly do they play out the scenario? You explain what we got to do. Why do you need to show what we're going to do?
That's because it looks cool on screen.
Yeah,
That
it
is
looks
it.
cool. It's Doc. Yeah.
But so anyway, so the cable comes undone, right? And he has to go back up there to fix it. How did he get it up there in the first place? Because it's not hanging from the clock, it's hanging from the roof. So why wouldn't he have just gone from there instead of risking his life going from the actual clock?
Looks great on camera, baby.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know it's just drama, but logistically, it didn't make sense.
Right. And remember, it wasn't long enough. He needed to connect them. Like, it's like a loosey-goosey thing, but
I
it's
know.
there.
I'm just saying. I don't want to mess with any reefer addicts. That was the other line that made me laugh.
So, end of the movie, Marty gets home. But then Doc shows up.
Yes.
And
remember this last 2 minutes.
It's from the future, huh?
Remember this last 2-3 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
And if you can rewatch it, watch it right before you watch the beginning of the second movie, because it's the shot-for-shot remake with a new actor.
Yeah, I was impressed. I did see
well done,
some
right?
differences. Yeah, there were some slight differences.
And you can
But I was
tell,
impressed
like,
at how
part
they
when he's
got
taking
it.
the stuff out of the trash can. They just reused that footage
Yeah.
because he's the only one
Yeah.
in it. But like,
Yeah, and you only see the girl's shoulder when he's doing that, so you can
right.
you can use that scene. So Doc shows up and says, "Marty, you got to come with me to the future. It's your kids, Marty. It's your kids." And so he has Jennifer with him, and they get in the car and they shoot off. They go. That's the end of the movie. They're going to the future, and that's Back to the Future. And next week we will talk about the continuation of that and how
Here's
that
what's
goes.
ridiculous about that line too, though,
And all the recasting in the second one.
is the
Yes, we'll
thrust
talk about that as well.
of Doc's character the entire time they're in the past is, don't tell me about my future. We already seen how much you can change things. Don't tell me about my future. I don't want to know. And then he ends up reading the letter, so he saves himself with the bulletproof vest.
Yeah,
right?
Doc goes against his things all the
But
time.
then at the end of the movie, he's like, "Let's change your future by going to fix it." Like,
Yeah.
no. Like,
It's
what
your
are we
kids,
doing?
Marty. It's your kids. All right, let's give our things on this. Phil, what do you give Back to the Future?
Oh, 8.5, easy. It's definitely like an 8.5. It's good writing. It's like an 80s staple. It's like a staple of 80s like cinema, and it's a high staple. It's like an 8.5.
Nice.
It's good writing, and it holds up today. And even like the Laserdisc, it looked great when I had it on the projector and stuff. So yeah, it's a great movie.
Excellent.
8.5.
All right, Cliff, you're up.
8.5 as well.
All right.
I mean, I mean, it's not, I don't know what the perfect film really is, Lawrence of Arabia, but
Yeah.
Oh no.
I am, I mean, like this is in my in my,
Empire
treasured
Strikes Back.
films collection. That's what it is.
Robert Zemeckis in the '80s had it going on. Like
He
he
really
was,
did.
he had like, what was it? Romancing the Stone was, I think, before this. And
You know, I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. You've
Oh,
never
I
seen
like
Romance
it.
in the Stone?
Are there three of those?
And Jewel of the Nile.
There's
There's
only
two of
two,
them.
or is there three?
There's two.
'Cause
Romance
if
in the
there's three
Stone and
those, we
Jewel
should
of
do
the
those
Nile.
then.
Yeah. Green Shirt Guy, your number.
Yeah, I'm 8.5 for me too. This is really tight writing.
Ah.
This is Michael J. Fox probably at the height of his powers. I think he's still good after this, but this is probably at his zenith. It's an 8.5. It's a fun romp, and you're right, it holds up. There's a lot of great lines that still make me laugh.
I'm gonna give it.
I will say this. I remember watching this movie with my father, right? And you guys haven't met my father. I grew up in a religious household, so it's really fun. So my father, we could watch a lot of movies with violence, didn't bother him as much. So Star Wars, Conan movies, all that stuff, not a big deal. But if it had swearing in it, he'd get really bad of shape. My mother's the other way around. Language didn't really bother her, but it was really violent. So like I had to watch different movies with my parents. This movie my father didn't really like because of the language. So going back to rewatch it, I'm like, well, how much swearing was really in it? And there is swearing in it, but it's not pervasive.
You're gonna
throughout
see
the
some
movie.
serious shit.
Right, there's stuff like that, but like it's not like every scene has some. And there is some swearing, but I just remember in my memory being going, were they swearing the whole time? And I got to watch this anyway.
There's only like a couple swear words in it.
Beginning and then at the end, right at the end, there's
I give this movie a 9. I love this movie a lot. I thought it was not a perfect movie, but from beginning to end, they gave you everything that you needed.
Yes.
For the movie, little callbacks, this and that. Very enjoyable. I enjoyed it very much. I give it a 9. What do you guys think in the comments? Leave your number in the comments. Next week, we are doing Back to the Future Part 2, which is my favorite Back to the Future.
Really? Oh.
Yes. That is my favorite Back to the Future right there.
I was hoping you were going to say the third one, because the third one is
because it's like it has such an Empire Strikes Back ending, and I love it. Like I love those kind of endings that get you going. Angry Otter gives it a 9.5. John's Comments gives it a 10.
Oh, look at these numbers! Wow, it's a love movie to this day.
Wow.
Comic G-Man 10.
Remind me, this was only planned to be one. Much like a lot of 80s movies, it did really well. And they're like, oh, well, now we got to make another one.
Yeah. Well, when they decided, they were like, okay, we're not going to make a sequel. We're going to make 2 other movies. And they filmed part 2 and 3 at the same time. Yeah.
That's why they came out very close to each other.
Yeah.
Like, I think 89 was part 2, some are sequels, and 90
which you didn't,
was part 3.
Yeah, you didn't know back in the day. So when you went to watch part 2, at the end of it was like part 3 coming, and they gave you a little trailer of part 3.
Man, it's been a
at
while.
the end of that movie. Yeah. So very, very nice. All right, let me get into the comments. See,
the
shout
score
out
is
to
coming in
here
for this one.
Yeah, a lot of 9.5s, all that. So shout out to Las Cruces for joining us. 1971, thank you for joining us. Brian LCS, thank you for coming in. Aggressively Relaxing, thank you for coming in. Comic Cap Collectibles, thank you for coming in. Kenneth Bird, thank you for coming in. We got Kenneth in our thoughts and prayers. He's got a procedure coming up at the end of the month. We are with you, Kenneth. 23 Munch in the house. Thank you for joining us. Larry was in the house. Thank you for joining us. Black Crown Comics is in the house. Thank you for joining us. Angry Otter is in the house. Thank you for joining us. Treb, the shipping guru. Thank you for joining us. Ken Rollon is in the house. Thank you for joining us. John's Comics with Kids is in the house. Thank you for joining us. Kamario's here. Thank you for joining us. The Comic Book G-Man. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here today. Where'd you get that? Cody's in the house. Thank you for joining us. Cody's got a great channel. I believe that would be.
Did we get John's Comics with Kids?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And Ben Compton?
And who? Ben Compton. No, Ben Compton's in the house. Thank you for joining us, Ben. Very nice. All right.
Got them all.
We got them all. All right. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Remember, we'll be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. to go over the new keys and hot comics of the week. where we will have the new comic books and we will do our duck giveaways. Remember, if you have not watched New Comic Book Day this week, episode number 82, within that video is a hashtag that you will have to put in the comments of that video. And if you put that hashtag, we will put a duck in for you for the end of the month race. That's another way for you to get a duck in this race. Go watch that video, like that video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll put another one in there. All right, so next week, remember, Back to the Future Part 2 is your homework, and we'll be back here next Sunday, 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific, to go over all the film and box office news. So, for myself, for Phil, for Cliff, and for Green Shirt Guy, we thank you, we love you. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes?